and then we'll hit on the beautiful news that happened to Kotaku today.
So obviously, obviously this all started with Sweet Baby Inc. And that whole story breaking. And I never necessarily like I think it's kind of a strange thing. To me, it feels like a grift that they're doing. It's just a grift of, force people to, change their stories or add in things that maybe don't make sense when it's like, well, why don't you just hire someone like if that's a story you really want to tell, I'm a white guy. I'm not going to tell a story about like a 20 something year old black dude. Like I would actually, try to seek out someone like that, bring him into the team and have him be a part of it to tell his actual story instead of it being perpetuated by a group of people who would think that they know their story and their struggle, their upbringing, whatever the case may be. So I just thought the whole thing was laughable. And I made a video on it because of the fact that, you know, I didn't like I don't like people who virtue signal, and I don't like people who have the holier than thou mentality when there's literally terrible things that those people have said that work for this company and things that they've done. And that's what spurned on the whole thing, attacking the dude because he made a list of what games they worked on. Meanwhile, the list is publicly available on their
Right.
website. So what difference does it make? So
Cabrutus? I think his name
yeah,
is
Cabrutus,
Cabrutus.
I think his
Yeah.
name is, from Brazil.
Right.
So I made a video talking about that, and I was just like, some people might disagree with me. If you disagree with me, like that's cool. I don't care, but like, it's just weird how like this is such a prevalent thing, and how these people have to hold the gaming industry to such a high standard, but then themselves are not very good people. And then like the woman, I don't remember her name, but she was speaking and like, you terrify these companies, you force them to do it. She was like, that's
The
not
one
how.
at GDC 2018 or 19?
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, I
bro,
saw that.
that's not how that's how toddlers act. That's how children act. Like you don't not no, that doesn't work in the real world, but now that's kind of infiltrating the world. So I made my video on it, said my piece, that was that. And then a girl named Alyssa who works at Kotaku wrote an article about the situation, of course, downplaying it. And I read the article and I noticed that there was no mention of why this had become a thing, going back to the Cabrutus thing and the list being made. So I'm like, that's stupid. And then she just said some dumb shit in her video or in her Twitter feed that was like, you can't be racist towards white people. And it's like, yes. It's like, do you own a dictionary? Like, yes, it says that it's usually usually marginalized groups and things of that nature, but that doesn't mean always. If someone is one skin color and I don't like this other person because of the color of the skin, that's racist, and
Right.
that's not a bad thing to say. Like, I mean, it's a bad mentality to have, but it's not a bad thing to say. Hey, okay, it's literally the definition of racism. So I was just like, this person, geez, man, whatever, if that's, and then she went on this, holier than thou thing, buy me drinks, all this sort of stuff.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and then she locked down her Twitter account. And so I'm looking at this, I'm laughing, I'm having a good time with it. And then a couple days after the thing, because I was pretty much done with that. I think I made a video or two on it. Like the
Right.
second video, I don't even think I really alluded to that. It was more so about how the government was like funding a company that was telling people to back them, and that people are being harassed and stuff. Um, she made a tweet, and you could tell that it was just about making it about her. It wasn't about the story anymore. It was about making it about her. So I shared a GIF um, that had a
Mhm.
girl with a megaphone saying, "Attention, I am a victim," and she, who cares? Like it was funny. And so, like a day or two later, Ethan Eric messaged me and he was like, "Oh, did you see someone tried to cancel you on Twitter?" I was like, "Nah." And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, send me a picture of it." And he was like, "Yeah, I will when I get home." I was like, "What was it?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, some guy like made a post trying to cancel you, and that Alyssa girl retweeted it because she hasn't blocked me yet." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty petty, but okay." But I did notice I gained like 300 new followers like in a
Right.
very short amount of time. So I'd really honestly forgotten about it. And was it yesterday, I guess? No, 2 days ago. Um, Eric messaged me again. He's like, "Hey, I'm working on a video about that guy trying to cancel you." And I'm like, "Wait, that was real?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You never sent me a picture or anything." So he sends me the picture, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "All right." So then I go to Twitter, and I'm looking into this guy, and I see who this guy is and what company he represents. He's a lead PR person at PlayStation, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And like his string of tweets was like, do better, be better than this. You could tell what type of audience this person wants. Just going on and on about me. And I'm like, motherfucker, you've never talked to me. You've probably never watched one of my videos. What are you trying to say here? So I told Eric, I was like, look, I'm gonna be nice here. Make your video, like whatever you're doing, you make your video right now because I'm making a video and I will wait like 20 minutes for your video to go up. I'll put a link to it in the description, but I am scorching the earth with this. And so he got up his video and then I put mine up like 20 minutes later. But it was so shocking to me how this person thinks that they're like a better person. And I'm trying to like curate to an audience or something and, harassing women and stuff like that. It's like, bro, like, let me call a spade a spade. I am friends with people that are friends with that Alyssa girl. And I told them straight up, I'm like, look, if you have to distance yourself from me for a little bit, that's fine. I understand. I understand how this all works. It is what it is. I'm not going to take it personally. And one of the people that I talked to about it was like, well, yeah, she has been getting some harassment from it. And, people are being mean to her about it. I'm like, dude, I'm sure she is, but she didn't help her case by making dumb tweets and still trying to be like, oh, I love the hate and, buy me a drink and stuff like that. And plus, the original story did not include why this whole thing was happening to begin with. And they were like, yeah, I totally understand what you're saying with that. I'm fine. Don't worry about that. But I just wanted to say that side. And I'm like, that's completely understandable. I've put dumb tweets out there. I've made dumb videos and people have come after me for it. Go look at my Crash Team Racing video. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Oh, now I want to see that.
Man, I was not a fan of that game and that goes against the internet and yeah, and Dead by Daylight too. Look at my Dead by Daylight video because I was like Friday the 13th is better. Jesus Christ. The internet didn't like that. But it's like, I feel like a lot of these people, they've just had because they always have to speak for someone else. And like, it just it blows my mind. It's like, what kind of upbringing did you have? Who raised you? Like, what was your? I genuinely want to know because to me, it seems like a lot of these people were probably like homeschooled or private school people who then went to like a liberal arts college, got gassed up by a professor, and then they're like, I'm gonna change the world. And it's like, okay,
I
like,
believe that option over everything, actually.
Well,
yeah. Bruce Almighty.
Nick, you hit the nail on the head because I have a family member, I've talked to you about it, who did the exact same thing. We grew up and raised pretty much the same exact way. I turned out to be normal, well-adjusted, and she did not. Just joined what I call, well, everyone calls it the cult, and it's just went
Yeah, they all
bonkers.
drank the fruit punch.
Right, right. So, yeah,
And see, that to me it kind of bothered me because people were trying to insinuate they're like, well, I think he's a Trumper. He's talking like a Trumper, and it's like first and foremost,
but it doesn't matter who you vote for. What does it matter? We can still
first
be
and
friends.
foremost,
Oh, wait, no, you can't.
when I grew up, there were three things that you didn't really talk about. You didn't talk about politics. You didn't talk about your money. You didn't talk about religion. That was it. That's
Hmm.
your
That's
own
it.
private business. And the funniest thing when people say that about me is I'm apolitical. I am not registered to vote. I think the whole system, the two-party system, I think it's all a fucking shit show. There are things I agree with on the right. There are things I agree with on the left. Like, I don't care about any of this. Like, it's such a, and they take these words like bigot and racist and sexist and stuff, and they devalue them so much. And it's like, if you really had people in your life who were victims of something, or who went through a situation, or hung out with people and really got to know, different things and different cultures, not on a surface level, but on like a real level, like you're actually friends with this person, you're in the trenches with this person, you don't think like that.
Right.
You just don't. And like it's so bizarre to me.
It does such a disservice to people who are actual victims.
Yes.
Too at the same time, but
it's crazy to me, and it
but
drives
now
me
you don't
nuts.
know who is or who isn't, because so many people are making the claim.
I mean, that's the thing. Being a victim is glorified now because of social media. It's like a badge of honor, and it's like, what do you talk? You don't want, if you were an actual victim of a situation that was actually like impactful in your life, or sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and you think about it, you would realize, hey, this I don't want this. This is not good. Like, if it's a windy, I had a situation that happened in my life. If it's a really windy night and that front door starts jiggling, like, I sit straight up in bed and I'm like, oh fuck, like, because I had something that happened. It wasn't a break. Well, I mean, I guess it technically was a break-in, but it was a legal break-in. When I was in my early 30s, because of a bad tip on a situation, and like, that was a fucking horrifying situation for me. And yeah, like, and the worst part was 3 weeks later they hit our neighbors, and I thought they were coming back, and I was like, not a fucking again, please God, not a fucking again. And then I'm like, wait, the door is still intact. So I went and got my housemate. I was like, you hear that? And he's like, yeah, what the fuck? And so we ran and looked out the window, and they were just all lined up there, dogs and everything. We were like, oh, fuck, man, God, it's not us this time. But like, shit like that will fuck you up. And the thing of it is, I don't say that I'm a victim of that. Like, that's a life experience to me. Life experiences are important.
I would just say it just happened and you lived it, and that's it.
Yeah, like it's a story that you could take something. Yeah, you could take something from it and learn from it, and like, it's just it's ridiculous. And I don't.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't care about what people in the industry think about me or say about me. You don't want to send me a game, you don't want to work with me, that's fine. I'm not, whatever. It doesn't bother me. But
Doesn't
I just
PlayStation,
think it's,
don't they send you stuff though?
no,
Don't they send you
PlayStation.
games?
I don't get nothing from PlayStation. I don't get nothing from Xbox. I don't get nothing from Nintendo. A lot of these companies, they've never reached out to me, even when I was in my more I guess I wouldn't say reserve stage, but
Vanilla.
I didn't talk about as much stuff. But like, I was in video game journalism. Like, people seem to forget that. Like, I was an editor in chief for Nintendo Enthusiast. I know how this shit works behind the scenes, because I had direct, arguments with people on the site. Like, yeah, I don't like this article. This is bullshit. And then we'd have to have like this whole big meeting.
How many years you been on YouTube now? Yeah.
Well, I started back in 2014 on Nintendo Enthusiast channel. 2016 I started RGT, and then 2018, one of those. I think it was 2018. I went full time on YouTube.
I think I discovered you in 2019. I want to say it was 2019. So yeah, I want to say it was 2019.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like been a while, and like, I understand like how it all works and stuff like that, and like, I get it. People, engagement is key at the end of the day, and that's why a lot of these stupid ass articles go up on Kotaku and Polygon, because a hate click, it's still a click. It's still getting ads ran on it, just like a video I make. If somebody hate clicks one of my videos and then wants to bury me on the internet, like, I've had tons of people, more than I can count, make these horrible videos about me, say the worst things about me. As long as they don't get personal with it, like, I don't care. And when they get personal with it, I care a little bit more, but I'm still just like, whatever. Like, unless you're showing up to my house or you're showing up to an event I'm at and you're saying it to my face, then it's probably a different story. But
yeah, but none of them have the testicular fortitude to do it.
No, because like,
none of them will ever show up in person. Only the people that like you will show up in person.
Dude, it's like keyboard warriors. What are we talking about? You know.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just sad. It's sad that, and when you really think about it, like it's pretty clear, who these people are in the industry and who they're, associated with. If a PR person from PlayStation is advocating for me to be, for people to unfollow me, I'm really disappointed that all these people in the industry follow him simply because I made a funny meme tweet on something to a Kotaku writer. It's like, well, isn't that a bit of a conflict of interest to be like that close to the people? And then, you have Greg Miller in Spider-Man 2 and all this sort of stuff. And it really makes you wonder about the connection.
Talk about a panderer, dude.
I'm not a huge fan.
Not a fan.
You know what? I'm
good
not
for
a
him,
fan
but not a
of him,
fan.
But I will say he did a very good job on the WWF or WWE special about the wrestling figures, because I turned it on because I was very excited to see it, because I have a full WWF Hasbro collection from the early 90s, and they were doing a stuff about like the older collectibles, and I saw him and I was like, this motherfucker, but he did a good job, and I was like, man, I can't be mad at you for this one, Greg. But like I just don't like these events and stuff. It's all the same fucking people. Look at these events. Look at the people at the Game Awards. It's always the same fucking
Good
people.
point. Good
You know,
point.
when we talk about that, we got some serious shit over talking about the Game Awards because people are like, "Oh no, you're just stupid." Like there was no justifying their point.
Straight
up insults.
Oh, how about both of us posting the same video at a different time about Harry Potter being the #1 selling game of the year, yet it wasn't put into the lineup. Oh man, the comments that we were both getting on both ends. That was ridiculous.
It wasn't nominated for anything.
Nothing.
Nope.
Nothing.
And that's absolutely ridiculous because of once again, people talking for people and saying they don't like this. When meanwhile, I can't tell you how many different people that were trans people messaged me and said thank you for making these videos and saying that the boycott is stupid, because yes, while I don't like the creator's ideology, I'm still a fan of Harry Potter. It got me through some hard times and I'm going to enjoy this game. I was like, no fucking problem, man. Like I hate that. Don't talk for other fucking people. That's like a basic rule you learn when you were a child.
Exactly.
But
a lot of these people didn't learn it as a child. They were just spoon-fed whatever they wanted. And then their parents just gave them whatever they want. As they got older, they expect the world to just give them whatever they want.
Yeah, I just say keep politics out of video games. Let games be games. Because
that's never that's gonna be rarely happen these days, though, dude. That's the thing. That's rarely gonna happen.
I think there's a time and a place.
Everything.
I don't think every game needs to be some political mantra. Like if you want to make like technically at its core, like Wolfenstein, I mean that's kind of political. Metal Gear Solid, like that's kind of political, but it's not like on the nose. It's not in your face. It's just talking about actual situations that happen to have political overtones to them. Whereas like these games now, it just seems like they're just, I mean, you hired Sweet Baby Inc. for Spider-Man 2, and you put up a Cuba flag instead of a Puerto Rican flag for Miles Morales. Like, you piece of shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
I didn't know they went that far.
I celebrated that day. I was like, yeah, go on. It was all downhill from there. I was happy about it. It was all downhill. But let me ask you about this. This has been going around, and everyone's getting butthurt about it. And it's about Resident Evil 5, and they don't want it to be in Africa now.
Yeah, they don't remake Resident Evil 5.
IGN article?
Dude, I don't know, but I heard it, and I just couldn't stop laughing. I was like,
everybody's
going through this right now. This is happening.
That's ridiculous. This is the first time of me hearing about that. That is fucking ludicrous.
Didn't you put up a video for that, RGT?
Yeah, and I
haven't watched it yet. I saw it earlier today. But
I'm an idiot, and I definitely said Africa was a country instead of a continent, and I was like, oh no, I said that because I wanted the engagement. Like,
you gotta cover your back.
You understood what I meant. But like to me, so if you watch, because they made an article and then they made a video about it, and if you watch the video of the guy making it, like he's literally whiter than Spawn Wave. Like this dude is just a very soft-spoken white guy that's making this video. Like, you can't have it in Africa. First off, the video, okay, let's just lay this out. The video is 8 minutes and 2 seconds long, meaning that it has no business being 8 minutes long. They just wanted the mid ad rolls. I didn't even watch the whole thing because I didn't care to see why we're talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in this video about Resident Evil 5. But the crux of it was it's because it's in Africa. And I'm like, okay, so Resident Evil 1, you're literally killing zombies of all races, including your own team members. Resident Evil 2, 2 and 3, very diverse cast because it's in a city, Raccoon City. Resident Evil 4, you literally go into a Spanish village and you just fuck those motherfuckers up. You just literally the first 20 minutes of the game.
And not only that, you hear them, oh yeah, ahí va, and you hear me.
Bro.
What did he say? You understand what's going on?
And it's like, take Resident Evil 5. It takes place in Africa. These people are no longer humans. They have been taken over by a virus. They are zombies. The color of their skin doesn't matter. But you don't want this game that literally has a black female lead character in it as Chris's sidekick. I can never say her name right, Sheva or Shiva. And like,
I think it's Shiva.
I always said Shiva.
It's been a while since I played that game.
It was a good game. I didn't care what anybody said. It was Resident Evil Gears of War kind of feel.
Yeah, like at the time I wasn't a huge fan of it, but at the time I wasn't a huge fan of 4. But I replayed it a couple of years ago, and I was like, okay, I like this. It was just the end.
I still don't like 4. I like 5, but I don't like 4. I'm one of those.
See, I've come around on 4. I've come around on 4, but like
I just like because my favorite's 0.
No, I mean that's a good game.
Yeah, I love
a very cool setting
all the time.
I still haven't played the remake of 4. 2 remake is great.
4 remake is really good.
My brother-in-law can beat. My brother-in-law is like top 43rd in the world on speedrunning. He beats it in like 1 minute or 1 hour and like 4 minutes. 1 hour 4 minutes and 30 some. Resident Evil 2 remake.
Wow.
I think he's got it down even faster. Yeah, we tried. I tried having him stream it here a couple weeks ago live. You know, and had a ticker and everything. He's no joke. We couldn't make it through. We almost did though, but.
I want to make a spoof video, but like, you want to see how fast I watch it?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyways,
but it's
watching. Yeah, done.
It's just ridiculous to me. So a game with a black female lead that takes place in a very beautiful continent. Jesus Christ, I did it again. The beautiful continent of Africa. We can't remake this because the zombies that are not human are tan or you know, a little more than tan. Like, what the fuck is wrong with imagine if IGN was reminded about Africa on the PS3, the fucking game where you take pictures of animals in Africa. I'd be like, I can't remake this. Jesus Christ. Like, what is wrong? What is wrong with you people?
Nah, man.
That's an expensive PS3 game.
Yeah,
I think
Willie has it
a couple years ago. I have to check. I think it's in my wife's collection.
I think my boy Willie has it.
It's a pricey boy.
But it makes me think, who's the racist one? And they're gonna be really talking about it like that.
These are people. These are main. I feel like these are mainly white people that are always complaining about this stuff, and they're suffering from something called white guilt, and they're just uneducated. And so,
I'm just saying.
Probably that too.
It's a possibility.
Sometimes
you could
someone needs a wet beaver here and now and there. You know what I'm saying?
And you could tell, like, they just didn't have multicultural friends.
Yeah.
Like, growing up in life. Like, I moved around a lot because my dad was always getting new jobs, new states, new schools. The longest I was ever in a school happened to be high school because my mom was like, hey, he needs to fucking go to high school in one place. But like everything before high school was always different places. So I was always making different friends, a lot of Hispanic friends. I live in the Northeast. You have a lot of Puerto Ricans here. I have Puerto Ricans in my family. Every family event party is, mostly Italians, Puerto Ricans, and now there's a few Mexicans that have come, and there's Irish people. And it's just like, nobody thinks like, oh my God, this person's this. Like, nobody fucking cares. Nobody cared. Nobody goes outside and they're like, oh my God, there's too many.
It's
There's too
funny
many
that you
white
say
people
that.
here. Oh, there's too many Puerto Ricans. It's like, what is wrong with you?
Come up with the same. Invite me to your party, bro. Come on.
Growing up in Miami,
we gotta do
Oh,
that.
yeah,
that was
Miami. Fuck.
that was everything. Like you went into one of
Cubans.
my parties, it looked like the UN.
You were the minority.
People call my friend group the UN because we had one of everybody. But no one thought twice about that. We just went, oh, that's funny. Oh yeah, look, we're all different. Okay, and then moved on.
I'm sorry.
No one ever thought about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you're going to a party, you count how many black people are there. You're fucked up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like
It's 4, not 8. Hide your chain.
Yeah, oh no, we need more.
No, man, get out of here.
Well, that was the thing. I went to high school in North Carolina, and like where I went to high school, it was so the main town was a golf course community, so very wealthy. A lot of those kids went to the private school, but all around the community was like there's projects. There was a lot of Hispanics, a lot of white trash and stuff, some middle class people. So you would go to these parties, and like I would usually. No, it was Pinehurst and Moore County surrounding areas.
Okay.
Kind of near Fayetteville, like 40 minutes away from Fayetteville. So you also had a lot of military families too. So obviously all different races. So like I would usually roll up with a lot of my black friends, and we would go to like these fucking redneck ass parties. And there was only one thing that someone couldn't say to them, and everything else was fine. It was fucking. We called it FNNs. And it was always like, all right, as long as we don't hear that, whatever, it's fine. And I remember at this one party, this one drunk dad came out, and this was a redneck ass party, like good old Southern boys. And that dad came out, and he dropped an FNNs, and I looked over at my friends, and I'm like, shit, man, we're fucking outnumbered here.
Yeah.
And then I get my friend Elijah on, he was like, the fuck you say? And I was like, oh God. It just ended up being this huge brawl. And then I remember that was on a Saturday. On the Monday at school, the dude's son was like, oh man, I'm so sorry. Because everyone was fighting everyone. It was just this big thing. But it was like, we're over it. Okay, your dad's a fucking redneck. He's probably got some racist undertones there because he's grown up in the South. Like, what it is, what it is. That's not necessarily indicative of you. But it's just like, these people they don't understand different perspectives, and they'll never talk to someone with a different perspective. I will talk to anyone.
And that's the thing. They don't want to talk. Nobody else.
Right.
Nope.
I mean,
They
but
don't
just
want to talk. They want you to listen and agree, and that's it.
but let's go back to the cowardiceness of that one woman writing the article and then just blocking you on Twitter X. Like, how is that not blatantly obvious? Like, what is wrong here with the situation? People just are like, I don't know. I just don't think they're so blinded. I think they just struggle. They want to fit in somewhere so bad. I don't understand.
They
Maybe
want to fit in, but they want to be victims, but they know they're not victims, but they're trying to be. It's like
and they want to puff out their chest. They want to puff out their chest. They want to look big on social media. Like, I love the hate. I love the hate. And it's like, until you've actually had people like hate you, you've never really experienced that. And then once they start to experience, and look, did she get messages of terrible things? I'm sure she did. From real accounts, no, it was probably burner accounts. And like, I get it. That can be stressful. That can be traumatic and stuff like that. Like, I get it. But you also feed into it by saying this again. If you just said your piece and moved on, like, sometimes I'll make a tweet just to make myself laugh. And like, I won't even look at the replies. Like, I don't care if somebody gets mad at me or whatever. I remember when Vince McMahon got pinched, when it first came out, and like the text came out about him, I made a tweet that was like, I wonder if when Vince was with that chick, he pulled the draws and he was like, he's gonna poop. He's gonna poop. And like, people got so mad at me. And I was like, well, this is it.
I remember that.
I just stopped reading the comments.
And just laughing my ass off.
It's like, it's not going to change this. It's not going to like go back in time and like make the girl get more feces on her. No, it's already happened. Like,
I can imagine it now. You just doing a cigar. Crap on her some more.
like, and people just got so, they're like, inappropriate. It's not the time and the place. Like, you don't know the person. You don't know Vince McMahon.
Exactly.
You don't know anyone. You have no stake in this.
Exactly.
It's a dark humor joke. I cope with a lot of things in my life with jokes, and if you don't like it, that's fine. Like, I don't care. If you disagree with me, great. I don't care. You're allowed to do that. I don't want an echo chamber of people all the time. It's annoying. It's boring. People, you got to be challenged sometimes. People got to call you out on some shit, and it's, that's what makes you learn, and that's what makes you see a different perspective from someone. Not saying you have to agree with them, but
Do you think people like this will ever change? Do you think it's lonely, ignorant teenagers and people in their young 20s, like, that just are really in a small echo, in a messed up echo chamber? Is they ever gonna grow out of this? Is it ever gonna really change? Like, is it even sustainable? I know that's a handful of questions at once, but it's like, is it here to stay? Is this type of shit here to stay?
I don't think so, because all throughout history, if you look at political correctness, it's always kind of swayed back and forth, like what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. I mean, you could go back 10 years ago and look at words that were deemed acceptable that are now no longer acceptable and stuff like that. I feel like it's always sort of changing. And I think as people grow up, you tend to view the world a little differently at times. I'm not sure that those people will like completely change and like go to an opposite side of the spectrum. But I do think that eventually they'll be like, well, maybe I shouldn't have said something like that. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Because at some point you do have to sort of realize that, hey, not everyone's gonna think like me.
Yeah.
Not everyone is going to agree with everything I have to say. Like, I'm friends with people who have been, Sweet Baby Ink defenders that are journalists on Twitter. They still follow me. They still talk to me. Like, but they're usually older, industry people. They're closer to my age or maybe even older than me, because they understand that, hey, you know what? I'm not always going to agree with this guy, but he's not, he's not a bad person because
Mhm.
he views something differently. And like, I think that just comes with a bit of maturity. That's fucking ironic coming from a man child like me, but I think
Same.
it's just
No,
kind
I'm with
of
you.
growing
bro?
up.
Really?
You're in the right club, buddy.
But just kind of growing up as a person, and and I really think a lot of these people should like see a therapist. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that as a joke, because like I fucking saw my therapist today. But it's like like the last 2 weeks, like this is what we've been talking about. Like, she just finds it fascinating, and she doesn't like understand it because it's an outside world to her. So I've just been telling her about it. And I showed her my videos and stuff, and she just thinks it's so wild, like how reception to things is, and how everything has to be black and white. And like,
Mhm.
I'm not that person. I've never been that person. I've never been told something and just accepted it at face value. I want to look at it myself, and maybe you're right, but maybe you're not, and maybe I can find something different than you found. And people just don't like that. They don't like to be called on things. They don't like to be questioned about things. They act like they like confrontation, but at the end of the day, they really don't. That's like me and Adam Sessler. I don't know if you guys remember that, but like
Yes.
Adam
Is
Yeah.
that still
Sessler.
going on?
No,
Or that's
no,
not-
he
he's-
blocked me. He blocked me because I was just I was just being blunt and honest with him, how people actually view him outside of his echo chamber.
Yeah.
Nobody likes him.
Yeah, and
I
like
lost all respect
people,
for him.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, like he just got frustrated and blocked me, and I'm like,
A
okay,
grown man. Isn't he like 50 something now?
Yeah.
yeah, just crying about
Aw.
insignificant things from an industry that he says he's not a part of anymore. And it's like, okay, well then leave. Like, go away. There's a Knicks writer, fucking A, Mark Berman. All right, Mark Berman literally retired from the Knicks beat writing like 2 years ago. And this motherfucker, if there's anything sort of negative out there, he'll put out a tweet about it. And everyone's just like, go away. Why are you still talking? You no longer cover the Knicks. You moved to South Beach. Go fuck yourself. And it's like, they crave that little bit of attention, and people,
like
you
it,
know, I
dude.
mean,
Wait. Who
yeah,
would move to South Beach? Have you ever been there? That's not a place to live.
no. My dad
I
lives
have
in
an office not too
Daytona.
far from there in downtown Miami, Bayside. No, no, no.
I live pretty close to it, and I wouldn't even
Yeah,
go
I know
there.
you do.
At least you guys are in the warm climate, and it was
Are
like
you kidding?
it was like
This is not
spring
warm.
here the other
This is
week, and
okay.
now it dropped again in Chicago.
Well, we had one day of the 50s. It was
RGT's
49 yesterday morning.
northeast, so you're still getting
Yeah.
you're getting the cold waves before we get the cold waves over here, I think.
Yeah, fucking last night, my car, I have a car cover for one of my cars, and like I was like, I wonder if this, because it was windy as fuck, and like I looked out and it had blown off, and I was like, son of a bitch, and I went out there to get it, and the wind was so bad it just ripped it out of my hands and started going down the street, so I had to chase it, and then yet today it was like 41 and sunny, and I'm like, okay, so I waxed that car, and then luckily the wind was the way it was directing. I started at the back of the car and it just lifted the car cover up. So I put it down there and I strapped it in real quick and I just ran to the front of the car and it got put on there. And I was
But
like,
41 degrees for us is good. If there's sunshine, that's a good day.
I think it got up to 72 today.
Whatever.
See, I'm not a big fan of the heat though, because
No, I hate the heat.
My mom lives in Sarasota and my
Okay.
stepdad lives in Daytona.
Daytona, that's where the first Buc-ee's I ever went to was there. Buc-ee's is amazing. If you haven't been to Buc-ee's, you got to go to Buc-ee's.
I don't think
You like
I'm
Buc-ee's?
northeast, so I've been to Wawa a million times.
Yeah, we have Wawa here now, and well, we've had Wawa here for over a decade. But when I
Yeah.
went to Buc-ee's, the first one's in Daytona. We went there. We were on of all places, we were on a road trip to North Carolina, and we
Mhm.
stopped there because it was off of 95.
Mhm.
Oh my God, the best barbecue you'll ever have comes from a gas station. But it's a
I
gas
believe it.
station that's like it's bigger than a Walmart.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
it's fantastic, but yeah. But it's honestly, I was in London last week, and it got down to 41 degrees. But I don't know if you guys have ever been there. It's just rainy and wet and cold.
Yeah, it's very miserable there. It
It's
seems.
it's very miserable.
Yeah. I
And
mean, I
I'm
think
like,
that's
you
like
have to
normal
walk
weather for
everywhere
them.
too.
Like if you watch old school Top Gear,
Yes.
with Clarkson, Hammond, and they, like
Oh, I miss
9
those
times
days.
out of 10 when they're outside, it's like cold and rainy.
Yeah.
They're trying to test these cars on the track. It's fucking
Uh,
raining. It's like,
Yep.
God damn it! It just seems
Yeah.
like it rains there all the time.
But,
From what they were telling me, it does. It rains more often than not. Out of all the days we were there, it only didn't rain 2 days.
They should
And
be making good grunge music like Seattle did then. That's why we got, Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains, Nirvana and Mudhoney and shit, because it just fucking rained all the time in Seattle. It's
just
like, you got
paint in a
nothing else to
garage.
do. Like, just make some depressing music.
Wait, what's Cody saying over here? Floridiums? Floridiums? Okay, I'll go with that. 41 is freezing. Massachusetts, cold. You don't know cold experience, 11 biatches.
Okay, that's pretty cool. But for 41, I'm outside with just a hoodie and shorts. I see no
Yeah.
problem with that.
It
Like,
depends on how much the wind is blowing.
Yeah, like today it was blowing like bad here, and it was like 40, 41. So like I was shooting snot rockets out. My neighbors probably thought I was coked out of my mind or
You
something.
just,
I was like, no, it's just cold. Like fuck, trying to
Literally
finish
spiked.
this wax job.
but not to get too far off of topic, I was just thinking, do we put a finger on companies like Reddit for just headline content where people just read the headlines and not even the articles? Like, I mean, I think that's kind of been around for quite some time, because Reddit, I feel like, has gotten so big that people will just scroll through subreddits and whatever's on their main front page feeds, judging on whatever they subscribe to in the content that they see, that they basically will just read the headline and go, "Oh, I got my news from this source." And then when you actually go in, and there's always people that are like, misleading headline, like this is what the actual article talks about, too lazy you didn't read type stuff. But
I think it's more of just a cultural thing, because like that's why TikTok in its infancy got so popular, because it's just quick. Everyone wants quick, instant satisfaction, and that sort of thing. So I think Reddit helped push that along, but I feel like just the internet in general, it got people to a point where they don't need to, it's like a review. Like think about a game review. All what does anyone care about? They scroll down and see the score. They
Yeah,
don't care about what
exactly.
said
Yeah.
in there, and they have some preconceived notion in their mind of what that score is indicative of. And for a lot of people, like 7 out of 10, I'm not gonna play that game. Shit. And it's like, who raised you?
Hmm.
But yeah, like I think it's a societal thing, and that's one of the reasons why I don't do review scores, because like to me, like a review score should be the last thing you care about, because it's about the person's experience with the game, and talking about what they liked, talking about there's no such thing as a perfect game, and talking about what you like, talking about what you didn't like, and identifying with a person to kind of bring this back all full circle. I feel like that's what games journalism has lost, because if you think about how games journalism really started with magazines. Hold on.
Hmm.
Right.
Started with magazines. All these magazines, EGM, Game Pro, they all had personalities. They all had
EGM.
they all had individual people that you would say, okay, I usually like how this person reviews games. So you would identify with an individual. The early days of IGN, same sort of thing. You had Matt Bozon, Kessim, or whatever, and a lot of those writers from the magazines moved over to websites, and so you had these people, and you had long tenured people. If you look at a lot of these journalists nowadays, and you look at like their work history, they're bouncing around from place to place, and they're not garnishing a following because they bounce around from place to place so much. So you lose that identity. Now it all focuses more so on the website itself than the person, because you don't say, John Doe of IGN reviewed this game and gave it a 7. You say IGN gave it a 7 because the corporation has
Right.
overtaken the individual.
Good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, but
Solid,
IGN is
actually. I
mostly
didn't
known
even.
for
I haven't
sixes
even
now, I've heard.
considered. Is there a website? You know what? A review site that I'll go to that I think, if I have to see a review on a game, I'll go to Metacritic, because I like to see
Yeah.
the juxtaposition between like the user scores and like the reviewer scores, kind of like going to like Rotten Tomato,
Yeah.
you kind of, you gotta, I'd rather read the user reviews versus the
Critics.
the critics.
Even think about how Metacritic is set up, though, with the reviews. You get that sound bite of the review from media people. So like I feel like a lot of people just read that little 2-sentence review and then see the number, and then that's where they get their whole thing. I'm like, with websites like Metacritic, what I like to do is I like to look at the highest scores, like look at a couple of those, and then I like to look at some of the lowest scores, and then kind of see what the shift is there. But even Metacritic is a flawed system because of the fact that you have people like Jim Sterling or Stephanie Sterling, who is a part of Metacritic. So their opinion on a game and their score of a game will transform the score of a game, and they are very opinionated, which there's nothing wrong in that. However, when your opinions about certain subject matter impact what you think of a game because you don't like the story, or you think this character is this, that, or the other, and this is going into the major conglomerate website for review scores, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all.
I just don't know. I just think like some of these critics that talk about games and stuff like that, I think they put too much of their personal opinions in there versus kind of talking about like on a whole. So like if
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, the whole thing with the Puerto Rican and the Cuban flag, it's almost like they get offended and it's like, you know what? I don't think that the creator did a good job putting the Puerto Rican flag and making it Cuban. Oh man, look, guess what? The developers messed up. They'll fix it in the next run. But guess what? The game overall is pretty fun. Blah, 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 blah. And just talk about generally about the game and how you feel about it. And that'll be your own opinion, but you're kind of making it about the game.
They want to like make stories. You know what it reminds me of here? This is what game reviews remind me of these days. when I'm trying to look up a recipe to make like a good macaroni and cheese, and there's a novella of the reason why they came up with this recipe with their personal life and all this, I do not fucking care. Give me the ingredients. Tell me how much the mac and cheese and et cetera, it needs to be in there to make this recipe. That's how video game reviews, Kotaku, they put this novella of garbage. Just how's the game mechanics? How does it run? How's the story? How involved are you? Is the game loop, repetitive? Give me information I actually need. That's where I think the state of game reviews have been at lately.
Well, you also have a lot of journalists out there, and this is stuff that I know is a fact, that are scared to review a game
Sure.
differently than they think it's going to go. Like people, I know verbatim, I've had people tell me, a game that gets a 9, maybe they gave the game a 9, but they really wanted to give it a 7, but they didn't want to be that outlier. Because let's be real, there are fucking idiots out there who will you gave my favorite game a 7? Fuck you! I'm gonna dox you! I'm gonna kill your family! It's like because they lowered the Metacritic score. Yeah, and it's like there's crazy people on all sides of the gaming thing. I don't think that necessarily the only crazy people are the ones trying to interject politics and everything. I think there's crazy people in all spheres of it, but when it's being perpetuated by a psychotic individual or psychotic individuals, you could pinpoint to them and be like, okay, this is the fucking idiot here. But with the website, you would think that there would be a higher level of standards.
Sure,
like that.
Of course.
But it doesn't seem like there is.
Yeah, that's it. Like creating a solid standard. That's just why, like you said, you brought up a good point with like Metacritic, and why that is potentially flawed. I recently watched a thing about AI, and like they were calling it Dark Forest at this point, where a team of people were able to, on an article, spit out, 800 plus articles relating to one specific topic and bump that topic out, bump the original post that was getting whatever so much traffic. They're able to bump it out and push it through to start falsifying information. So, I mean, I think it's been happening, and it's going to be getting worse and worse. We're going to start seeing more game reviews of really bad games getting really good reviews, and vice versa. Really great games getting bad reviews.
I'm not sure if everybody wanted to talk about it, but I think the chief editor of Kotaku quit.
Yeah, good. Get her out of here, because they're gonna. They're going to what? They're gonna focus on more video game stuff instead of.
Yeah, but did you hear what they were making the staff do? What was it? I think 10 guides a week.
That's a little too. That's a bit obsessive.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Wasn't it 50?
I heard it was 10.
Hold on.
Each 50 guides. That's insane.
I'm pretty sure.
Dude, I would be going to the $1.99 section on Steam and just cranking out guides, dude. I would be getting like the cheaper games that are like 3-hour long plays, if that was the case. But that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, it's 50 guides a week.
Each writer?
No. For the total website. So
okay.
Yeah, I guess it would break it because some of the writers left too.
Yeah, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get people to leave because they realize this is too much work. They can't get it done, and if they don't get it done, they'll get fired. So what are you going to do? Force them out.
Who's laughing now, Alyssa?
We have to put like that big old emoji, the grab your stomach.
Oh man.
But yeah, and that's where I think a lot of modern journalism is going, because they've lost trust and they've lost relevancy, because websites. Okay, remember when newspapers were upset with websites and they were like, "Oh, websites stink. You can't do this, that, or the other."
That was a long time ago, bro.
Yeah, I know. But it's because they fear change, and you could see that an individual can make their own thing on a
It's like 20
platform like
years ago.
YouTube and something like that, and have as much say, if not more say, than the big journalist websites. So a company doesn't give a fuck about you at the end of the day. Everyone is expendable.
You're just a
In
number.
any Yeah, you're just a number. At any day, you're a cog in the wheel, and your cog can be replaced. But somewhere along the way, people tried to like say I'm not a cog. I'm more important than that. And it's like, if you really feel that, make your own shit. Do your own thing. You need to diversify, because no one, you could have, look at the fucking the IGN what is the IGN, what's the word I'm looking for here, the union, the IGN union thing. A bunch of people got like removed from it, and now like all the higher ups at IGN are just completely silent on it, because they don't once again, you're trying to make it about you. You are a cog in the wheel. If you want to do your own thing, a lot of people have done it. It works for some people, it doesn't work for other people. But at the end of the fucking day, this is ingrained in a child's medium, video game, something that was supposed to be for children that happened to be appreciated to adults. Your job is not hard. It might be time consuming, but it's not hard. You want a hard job? Go fucking flip fries at McDonald's. That's a lot harder, because you're gonna get hit with fucking grease from a grease fire. Go in a mine. Go work in an oil driller thing. Like,
Dude, any
Like,
pick
I think
a
my local
blue collar
McDonald's
job.
doesn't even have-
Pick
I
any
don't
blue
even think my
collar
local
job.
McDonald's has any employees. I think there's only 2. Everything's automated over at the one by my
A lot
house.
of it is.
Yeah.
I haven't been to McDonald's in forever.
I
Burn the
like all
machine.
fast.
It was
Screw
about
You know
a
what I'm
year
saying?
ago,
Like,
but
any
I think
sort
there's
of
2 people there.
any sort of normal job is going to be harder than this. Like, this is
Yeah.
fucking blessing. This is like a dream job that tons of people never get to experience, and like these people just take it for granted. And plus, like, the whole system, it's all based in California. You got to move to California. People at IGN live like 5+ people to a house, because they lure you in with, oh yeah, you'll make 70, 80, 90K, but you live in fucking California. You might as well make 40K in the deep south, and you'd probably live better. Like,
Yep.
they don't understand, and they think that something is going to happen, some big break is going to happen, and it's like,
Nah.
bro,
You work for IGN. Come on.
yeah, like
The
this
biggest
is
break
probably
you
it
get
for you.
from watching a movie.
Very few people propel an IGN job into something bigger, and really, the only one I could think of was Matt Bozon making Way Forward Studios, and
I
like,
would-
he was a success story.
None of you guys know this, but I was pre-COVID. I was looking at jobs in LA. I was actually out there quite often for things not related to video games. But IGN was looking for hosts, and they had a whole like thing to like, to make up like a mock-up like hosting when they do like their what are they still? I haven't been on IGN for ages, so I don't know if they still do this. This was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago already. But I had set up all my equipment, all my gear, had everything ready to go to make like this killer, like basically almost an identical audition video on doing like gaming news or reviews type things. And I started recording it, and I stopped, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I had to stop. And I haven't thought about it actually since, until we just started talking about it. I actually even sent out a resume to Rooster Teeth to be a producer there, like a video producer. They actually ended up getting back to me, because I did send them a video reel and stuff like that. But I mean, look at what happened. Rooster Teeth is
Yeah, they're gone.
They're gone now.
Well, that was like when IGN was looking for someone to head up their Nintendo division, like probably 5-6 years ago. A lot of people I know talked to that was the job that I don't know if you remember him, Philip Mewson, who ended up getting caught plagiarizing a bunch of stuff. But that was that job. And like OJ from Player Essence, he interviewed with the role, and he actually lives in California. He lives in a bit more northern part where it's not quite as expensive, and he was being offered like 70 grand, and he was like, that's not good money for
You can't
Like,
live off of $70,000 in LA. You absolutely cannot.
Philip, and I'm not trying to justify what he did. I haven't talked to that dude in years, but he moved his girlfriend, wife, and their kid to LA to do it, and just the job was just so, it's not like doing a YouTube job. You're literally working, 12-hour days, regardless of whether you want to or not. You have these strict deadlines that you have to meet by any means necessary. The dude just got in over his head. That's why he just started plagiarizing shit, and then he fucking got caught. And like people don't realize that, like, honestly, he would have been better off just making YouTube videos. If he would have just done YouTube videos, I guarantee you he would have been very successful because he was good at editing. He was a decent on-camera presence. And, he was showing up on other people's shows and stuff. People were getting to know him. But for whatever reason, that opportunity to, I get to work for IGN. Like, that's just so, I mean, look at all the shit that happens with Game Explain. They still get people to work there, even though it's pretty well documented.
What's Game Explain?
Oh, it's a great channel, but I don't know about the dark side of it. I actually like Game Explain. I didn't know that there was kind of like a dark side to that channel.
Yeah, you if you saw one of their videos, you would know.
Yeah, you would.
Game and then Explain. They have like over 1 million subscribers. Like, it's a very large channel. But yeah,
you're one of the largest channels I follow.
Oh, okay.
I follow a lot of the smaller guys, so I watch a lot of retro stuff, or I watch a lot of Retro Rig, Pixel Game Squad, stuff like that. I like
good old Riff.
Yeah, Riff. Dude's great. No, that's the stuff I'm more into when I watch on YouTube. Otherwise, when it comes to, it's mainly, I would say, if I get news or anything, it's you or Spawnwave. That's about it.
I watch car stuff.
I'm DD, dude. I watch so much DDE, that Daily Driven Exotics. I don't know if you watched that, RGT. I watched so much of that. Like, oh my gosh, that's probably.
I get too jealous. I get too jealous. I want it. You need to watch this channel called Collector Car Feed. They're gonna blow up. I think they basically, it's just like 4 or 5 friends that just look at like Facebook ads for cars and they just fucking roast them. And their videos are very heavily censored because they use a lot of the words that we grew up with, like the G word and the R word and stuff. So like it's very. I always crack up watching it. Yeah,
hard R.
But yeah, like it's just it's so Game Explain, like they had almost like a mass exodus because the main guy Andre was basically like not paying people enough for the revenue that the channel was bringing in and stuff. Do you know Good Vibes Gaming?
Sounds very familiar.
Okay, Good Vibes Gaming are the people that left Game Explain to make.
I'm gonna check them out then.
Nintendo Life.
One of the guys did.
Yeah.
But the other people were from Game Explain.
Okay.
So that's kind of what happened there. And but yeah, he quickly filled all those slots. Another person a couple of weeks ago was talking about how he wasn't, what he felt like the amount of stuff he was doing, they weren't getting paid enough. And, once again, it was another big controversy. And it's like, I've heard that the dude who runs it is living a pretty good life, but like, that's why, like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm very glad I did my shit the way I did my shit, just me, because
that's the way to do it, man.
I just, I have a guy who edits for me sometimes. He hasn't edited anything in a month, but like he's going through some personal shit. So I'm just like, whatever, dude. It used to be like, if I want him to edit a video, I'd send it to him and I would just pay him X amount of dollars. And then I came up, I was just like, look, I'll just pay you X amount of dollars a month. If I need something, you do it. And he's like, okay, cool. And now, like, he hasn't edited for me in like 2 months, but he's going through all this personal shit. He's like, I feel bad. I'm like, it's fine, because he'll still like handle the RGT85 Facebook page and just throw memes on there because that's monetized, making $20 a month or something like that. But like, I just couldn't imagine like going into like a business like this and then doing it with other people and having to split the revenue and stuff, because I mean you become friends with these people. And friends in business, sometimes if shit starts going sideways or one motherfucker's living better than another, Like, hey, it gets ugly.
You know what? I know we're going everywhere on this map. I want to talk about your book. I had no idea that you had a book coming out, and I
Yes.
want to know more about it. Like, what's up with that?
So I have one book already, the complete guide to the Sega 32X, because one day I was sitting on my couch and I was like, I'm gonna write a book about the 32X, and I had no idea what the fuck I was doing, but I knew I could write. So I linked up with a buddy of mine who just literally happened to have book editing software, which is like the weirdest thing in the world. And like we came up with that book. And then I was like, I kind of want to do another book. And I like to do like niche books because I do not care if these make money. As long as I break even on the money I put into it, I'm fine. Like that makes me happy. I'm good to go with that book. I got it. I made my money back just via pre-orders. But with this book, I kind of wanted to do something a bit more specialized, and it's called The Art of N64 Wrestling Games. And basically, I have a review of every N64 wrestling game from every region that released. I have
From
screenshots
every
of it.
region.
Yeah, yes, like Japanese exclusives
Oof.
as well.
Sweet.
I have some wrestlers and people in the wrestling industry contributing to the book as well, telling some personal stories, like the Blue Meanie who was in WrestleMania 2000. He
Stevie
talks
Richards?
about it. Fuck, I got to message him tonight. He was supposed to send me his part like 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't gotten it. But like a couple guys like that, and then I wanted to focus in on the modding community of it as well, because some of these mod projects for it are just like so mind blowing. And like I remember back in like 2006 is when I first discovered like No Mercy ROM hacks and stuff like that, and people were doing like texture packs and stuff. So a lot of it was restricted to the computer, but it was still cool stuff. But like people started making like literally their own games from it, and they were hacking moves and stuff like that. So I wanted to highlight some of those bigger projects and some of the historical projects. But now there are projects that are actually playable on N64 hardware and on
That's really cool.
EverDrives and stuff like that. That like literal complete rosters with MP3s, muffled, but MP3s of like theme songs, and like everything has changed. There's this guy working on one right now. GM Spectre is his name. He's doing a WrestleMania 10 one, and it has everyone's theme. It has everyone from like 94 to 95 that was in the
Hot.
WWF, all
Do
the
you actually
arenas and
have
stuff like
any
that.
of these ROMs on cart?
I don't, because I don't. Do I still own a 64? I don't know. What I do is I give him the John Riggs, and I'm like, throw it on an EverDrive, make sure it works. And because he was playing WCW Saturday Night a couple months ago, which was a ROM hack that I had sent him for it. But like just the amount of work, and these people do it all for free. So I wanted to spotlight a lot of that stuff in it too.
That's really
Because
cool.
I think those projects are like just as important. So like I've talked to some of the people involved in those projects. I need to hear back from like one or two. And then I might have one other section about I probably will. I just need to get in touch with them. I was supposed to follow up and I never did. Because I'm pretty sure I already wrote. Did I? Let me look at the drive real quick. I'm pretty sure I already wrote that, like did their write up as like quote unquote the future of N64 style wrestling games. There's a game coming out called Ultra Pro Wrestling 64, which is or not 64, but Ultra Pro Wrestling, which is basically mimicking like the No Mercy engine like to a T. Yeah, I actually did.
Right.
So I do need to follow up with them. Kind of as like the future. So like just kind of telling the
So wait,
story.
you're saying that AEW Fight Forever isn't the future of that style?
No, no, they lied. They fucked it up. Like if
I
you
was
look
so
at Ultra
pissed.
Pro
I was
Wrestling,
so pissed. But
like the menus are literally like No Mercy's menus as far as character creation.
diggity dog.
Yeah, like but they're expanding upon it too. They have a really cool, like the base roster of the game is all just made up characters. There's a creator wrestler in it where you could like tinker with anything. But the cool thing about it is have a bunch of like legend people signed, and for the first time they actually like it's all legends like DLC, but they get a 50% cut of all. So if like 100 people buy Hacksaw Jim Duggan, he'll get half of the profits that made that, which most of these games don't do. And I know probably most people don't care about stuff like that, but it's like, bro, without these motherfuckers, like, wrestling isn't what it is today. So yeah, I would say written wise, it's about I would say close to 95% done, because really all I'm waiting on is to hear back from a few people as far as like interviews are concerned. And then I don't really know like when it'll be done, but we'll see. But my portion of it is pretty much done. I'm just waiting on a few things, figuring out a few things, and then just taking it from there.
Well, you think you making these books, is it considered more like a passion project, or will this be something that you'll be
100%.
doing a little more every once in a while?
Nah, it's a passion project. It's literally, I get bored and I come up with an idea. I'm a very impulsive person, like in just all aspects of life. Like, I get bored, I want to do it, I want to do it now. And this is what I'm going to put all my focus on. And this is going to be, it's definitely just a passion project. It doesn't make much money. I'm not doing any crowdfunding or anything like that. Someone like Pat the NES Punk, that's where he gets a majority of his money. So it's very different for him. For me,
I found out I have one of his books, and I didn't even realize I did.
I don't have any of his books, but I don't think he likes me. As
he
it's
likes
like
too many people.
he doesn't. As long as I manage to break even, with paying like designers and stuff like that, which I will. I think I did a signed book run, which was kind of like the pre-order with Castlemania Games for the 32X book. And like with those pre-orders, like I already broke even. So everything after that was just, icing on the cake. And
Do you have a cover yet?
I do. No one's seen it though.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. I was like, have you shown it to anybody yet?
You know what? I'll put it. I'll message it to you on Twitter right now.
Yeah, I won't put it out there. I just want to see it.
No, you can. That's fine. It could be an exclusive for you. I'm not sure if it's 100% done, but I'm pretty sure it's 100% done.
This is gonna be kind of like the Xbox exclusive now. Xbox exclusive RGT85 book.
Well, there's something else I wanted to talk to you, but it's off camera because you know what we talk about.
Yeah, I talked to them.
After that, after the initial conversation,
we followed up with an email. I'm still kind of trying to figure out some things, and with that, but what am I doing here? I think I could just give you. What is it? Okay, no, that's not what I want to do. Open the image. Do I need it? Like, I definitely just like ripped off my favorite wrestling games cover art, but I told the designer, I was like, get rid of all trademarkable things and make it look a little bit different.
You were inspired. You used it as a
heavily
inspiration.
inspired. Heavily inspired. All right, I sent it to you on Twitter.
I see what you did there.
See, we got no name on the bandana. Who is that? I don't know. No name on the second wrestlers. Yeah, no name. No, who are these people? I don't know.
Who's that, Big Smexy? I don't know.
Could be anyone. It
Gilbert?
could be anyone.
I don't know. Schilberg? I don't know.
Yeah, something like
that.
That
was
like,
a good one.
He's them nipples. But yeah, I had a buddy of mine look that up for me.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like that there.
Yeah, I think it came out pretty good, and it's kind of, indicative of the spirit of the book. Like, I was just gonna go for something like completely original. I was like, everyone seems to just rip off everything, so I might as well.
Yeah, dude, I hear it everywhere. I hear it and I see it everywhere. I hear it in music a lot because I produce a lot of music. I hear it every day in electronic dance music. I saw it the other day in the new Crow movie trailer where he pulls the sword. Thank you, Devil May Cry. Maybe Devil May Cry got that. In the first
DMC. One. It looks like the dude from DMC.
So yeah. But I mean, he in the first game, if you guys recall, he gets stabbed. And he pushes the sword through his chest. I'm like, oh my god, this game's amazing. I saw that. It's like, wow. So you just if you really open up your eyes to it, nothing, even a lot of Hollywood stuff. I mean, the tropes, right? I think is what they're referred to as.
Yeah. Well, like,
but
I mean, that's why they're
there's-
redoing everything.
You know, if you could redo it
Creativity's
though,
gone. Nobody
you
has
could-
any creativity.
but I mean, if you could redo it in a way that it kind of breathes a little bit fresh air rather than it being so obvious, then it's okay. I don't,
Yeah,
I
like,
know.
my thing is,
Yeah.
it's not a video game. It's a book that happens to be about the video game. So I feel
Yeah.
like, it makes it different enough. But it's like,
Yes, yeah,
if you look at
100%.
Hollywood, you're
But
remaking all these
the cover
movies.
is more of an homage
Yeah,
for what
yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah,
It
there
makes
that
sense.
I was thinking about that word. It's a homage towards what it
Yeah.
is, and fans are going to appreciate that. They'll respect that, and I think that's okay.
Right. But yeah, you have like Beetlejuice 2. Like, who the fuck thought that was gonna get a sequel? But God,
I saw the trailer today,
That
dude.
trailer was hot.
Or
The first
Beetlejuice,
movie is one of my
Beetlejuice.
favorites.
Yeah, same. I think it's Beetlejuice. Is
Yeah,
the
that's
name
it.
of it. Yeah. I thought that looked fucking
Look,
phenomenal.
the fact that it
good.
came
But that's
out.
the problem. It does look really good, and it's 2024. So I don't have high hopes for it.
No,
it's
no, no,
going
no,
to
no.
look good.
No. You
I
gotta,
expect
you
it's
gotta.
going to be
Did
a
you
bait and switch.
Did
Children
you watch
nipples.
X-Men
Look,
97?
No, not yet.
You gotta watch it, dude.
X-Men
It
97 is
surprised
really
me.
good.
Well,
surprised me.
Today I've been out of it since like I said, I've been under the weather since I got back from London, and I've just been
course.
knocked out until just a
Logan,
little
look,
before.
listen to me. Listen to your buddy Punisher 305 over here. Listen. Get some Theraflu, not the one that puts you to sleep, the one that keeps you in the mid. Watch some X97 and enjoy. Because, dude, I had my doubts. I was like, let's see this freaking clusterfuck. Let's see what's going to happen. And to be honest, I enjoyed the whole thing. I was like, it brought me back to when I was a kid watching the first X-Men. I loved it. I thought I was going to see some junk, but no, I actually enjoyed it. It was fun.
See, there's a channel I watch. I think the guy's called WDW Pro. He reviewed that, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, wait, I guess it's a Disney-oriented theme parks channel, but he said he was surprised. He didn't expect it to be as good as it was.
Yeah, like even like all the shit surrounding Morph, like going into it, I was like, all right, what are they gonna do to him? But like he's just a shapeshifter. Like that's just Morph. Like that's all he really does, and it pays. He turns into characters that aren't featured in this version, but were featured in the original version. And I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. Like
Dude,
it's pretty well done. And I mean, you only get 2 episodes, and then you gotta wait a week. But like I thought the cliffhanger for the second episode was like pretty like weird and good. It was like, what? Like it makes you want to. It's kind of like the old one did, because all the old ones, they were mostly 2-parters, except for the Phoenix one, which was a 3-parter.
Previously on X-Men.
Do you remember when
what I heard?
The Phoenix Saga was when they did it primetime with Power Rangers?
Yeah.
They did X-Men and Power Rangers primetime. Man, I remember those days. That was great. They did the whole Phoenix
shit was
Saga.
Awesome. Dude, Fox Kids was the fucking shit. You had like X-Men and Batman and shit. It's like, this is
Spider-Man.
Yeah, this is no pussy shit.
Too.
This was good shit. You can still watch this as an adult and be like, God damn, that was in a children's cartoon? What the fuck?
Oh, the tongue-in-cheek humor, the things. Wait, did they really? Yes, they did. Oh yeah.
And then they wonder how I came out to be like this.
I mean, I think that's the best kind of kids content though, is shit that the kids won't get, but the adults will get.
That's why some Disney movies are really good, because they're able to throw in like the older Pixar stuff. Like, wait a minute, the kids aren't gonna get it. Look at SpongeBob stuff too, man. A lot of stuff in SpongeBob those older kids had. Oh, SpongeBob is great, dude.
It got popular a little bit after my time for watching.
I was too old.
Yeah.
Because I think that really hit in the early 2000s, right?
Something like that.
Because I graduated in 2002, so it even came out when I was in high school or after high school.
Yeah, I graduated in 03, and I remember it started because my cousin, who's 2 years younger than me, she was a big fan of it, and I was just like, I ain't fucking with that. Oh shit! It's 10:21.
We've been doing this for an hour and 16 minutes.
I lost track of time.
How it usually goes.
We're having a great time.
Yeah, it happens like that all the time. But with that being said, since I'm still feeling like crap, thank you guys for running this for me, and thank you for being here, RGT. This once again, really appreciate.
Yeah, we appreciate you, RGT.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Sorry, Jeremy couldn't make it, but
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, I spoke to him. It was just a little too last minute. So
Remember to
shit
follow
happens.
him.
he tried to move it around, but
maybe I just won't follow him because I wanted to keep talking about me. That way I'll get more of an audience from his viewers.
That'd be
yeah,
fun.
Very
Geeks and
strategic.
Gamers is pretty big. His is pretty big. He gets some of the highest nightly stream audience.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
and
I pop
revenue.
into his stream sometimes.
Yeah, him and Camelot make a lot of money, and I'm like,
Yeah, diehard fan base, dude. That's.
I like Camelot.
Kotaku would only dream of that. All right, I got
Anyways.
a jet. I'll see y'all later.
No problem.
Later,
Yeah.
bro.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Let's hit that. Thank you guys for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed RGT. You guys, thank you so much for coming through again. Thank you for picking up my slack since I sound like I'm congested like there's no tomorrow. But I appreciate you guys. Did you want to say anything before we call it a night?
Make sure you like and subscribe
Mhm.
the podcast on Spotify.
Oh, oops.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot to put up the
Spotify link?
episode last week.
Oh no, that's fine. Fine.
Oh yeah, because you weren't on it. You're like, yeah, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
Come on, man. You should have been there. It's all about wet beavers. It was amazing.
Oh,
Oh man.
it just got away from us because I was telling him about my trip to the road trip, and then going to Buc-ee's, and he had never been to Buc-ee's. I was telling him about the stuffed beavers. We got multiple beavers, and then he ran with wet beavers, and it's just
Oh yeah, it's all about the beeves.
beavers, wet beavers.
Mhm.
So, yeah. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video. Make sure you like and follow both of them. Subscribe to both their channels. You
Bink,
got
bink,
Miami
bink,
Geeks.
bink.
Click to enlarge. You can now see his little thing right there.
Here, I just put it
And
up
the
there.
Brady
Miami
Bunch.
Geeks. Yeah, but it's in the description below. You guys know that. But with that being said, thank you guys so much. God bless you all. Like we always say, be legendary. Thanks again.
Peace.
Thank you.